Sometimes, things can be difficult.
Christina Hall from Flip or Flop used to have it all.
I feel like it's not really fair to you or myself.
But then she lost everything when she and her husband got divorced. She went from HGTV royalty to someone mostly known for her failed marriages. But what actually happened to her? Where did it all go wrong? And where is she these days? Christina and Tarek El Moussa used to be one of the biggest TV couples. Their show ran for 10 seasons before it ended in March 2022. And for the longest time, everyone mostly knew Christina for her interior design career. These days, that's no longer the case though. After she and Tarek got divorced, her life just seemingly spiraled completely out of control. She got remarried really quickly. Then she had a baby with her new husband. Then she got divorced again. And right after that, she remarried once more. Because of her roller coaster of a love life, everyone now mostly knows her for her many marriages. People no longer talk about her interior design career as much as they used to. Nowadays, everyone just wants to know if she'll end up divorcing her current husband soon too. At this point, Christina's kind of become a laughingstock because of this, which is devastating when you think back to where she started. She and Tarek really seemed like a great couple. They met in the early 2000s. They were both working at the same real estate office, and they hit it off. Soon they started dating, and they also started working together as a team. They tied the knot in 2009, and things seemed to be going really well for them. They had their first child, daughter, Taylor, in 2010, and 3 years later, in 2013, Flip or Flop premiered on HGTV. Things seemed perfect at that point. In 2015, the couple welcomed their second child, a son named Braden. It looked like Tarek and Christina were on top of the world, but soon everything started falling apart for them. In the spring of 2016, they got into a massive fight. The police had to be called to their home. There were reports that Tarek even had a firearm and was a danger to himself. The whole situation was really scary and serious, and it seems like things didn't get better once it was over. That same year, in December 2016, Christina and Tarek announced that they were separating. They released a statement to Us Weekly, and they said that they had decided to separate while they reevaluated the future of their marriage. They also addressed what happened that spring. They said that it was all just an unfortunate misunderstanding, and that there was no violence and no charges were filed. That seemed at least a little reassuring. But despite what they said in their statement about reevaluating the future of their marriage, one thing was clear: Christina and Tarek were over. And it didn't take Christina too long to move on. Just a year later, she met Ant Anstead, and the two of them really hit it off. They announced that they were together in January 2018. This was a couple of weeks before Christina and Tarek's divorce was finalized. So she was in a new relationship before her previous one even officially ended. Still, Ant and Christina seemed really happy together, and eventually, in December 2018, they got married. 3 months later, they announced that Christina was pregnant, and in September 2019, they welcomed their son Hudson into the world. Once again, it seemed like everything was going great for Christina. She was still on Flip or Flop, and she seemed to be in a happy and stable relationship with her new husband. But unfortunately, this didn't last very long. Just 1 year after their son was born, Christina and Ant announced that they were going their separate ways. But this time, they didn't exactly release a united statement about the end of their marriage. Christina said that they made the difficult decision to separate, but that their kids would remain their priority. She asked for privacy for them and their family, and overall, she made it sound like this was a mutual decision that they both made. But then, Ant shared his own side of the story, and it seemed a little different from Christina's. He said that he never gave up on them, and then he added that he prayed that Christina's decision would bring her happiness. This really made it sound like he wasn't the one who wanted a divorce. He wanted to work on things with Christina, but for some reason, she seemingly didn't want that. Instead, she decided to give up on her marriage to Ant. And then, a couple of months later, in early 2021, she was already moving on with another man. She got together with Josh Hall. It's not clear when exactly they started dating, but apparently based on some of her Instagram posts, they'd been together since at least March 2021, which means that it only took Christina about 6 months to move on from Ant to her next partner. Her and Ant's divorce was finalized in June 2021, and, not surprisingly, Christina didn't waste any time after that. In September 2021, it was announced that she and Josh were engaged. It literally took her just a year to go from separating from one person to getting engaged to the next. She and Josh tied the knot in April 2022, and they've been together ever since, but it hasn't been without its drama. After Christina and Ant separated, she said that their kids were their main priority. She made it sound like their son was what really mattered to her, and this was why what happened next was so shocking. The same month that Christina and Josh got married, Ant filed for custody of their son Hudson, and he made some pretty crazy claims about Christina as a parent. He said that he was Hudson's primary parent, and he alleged that Christina barely spent any time with him. According to Ant, she was only with Hudson about 9 full days each month, but it gets even worse, because he also claimed that she would sometimes put Hudson in dangerous situations. He said that one time when Hudson was with her, he got sunburnt really badly. Apparently, it was so bad that it actually made him cry, which made Ant really worried about his son and his safety. That was why he filed for custody of Hudson. Once again, it seemed like Christina's world was about to come crashing down, but she actually responded to Ant's claims. She said that what Ant was doing made her really sad. She implied that this wasn't actually about Hudson at all, because if it was, he would have handled it privately with a judge or mediation. Instead, he chose to go public with it, which seemingly made her think that he had some other motives. Christina insisted that she was a good mom and that she loved her kids with all her heart. She admitted that she'd had her fair share of ups and downs, but that wouldn't stop her from protecting her kids. The whole thing honestly seemed pretty messy. It was hard to know who was telling the truth, but in the end, Ant's request was denied by the judge. This was apparently because he didn't give Christina enough notice, and he also didn't have enough evidence for his claims. At this point, Ant and Christina have joint custody over Hudson, and it seems like they've been able to get over all this drama. But still, you have to wonder, is this really the end of all of Christina's drama? I mean, she and Josh have only been married for less than 2 years at this point, so how likely is it that they'll actually stay together? Based on Christina's track record, it doesn't seem very likely, but who knows? Maybe this time things will be different. But what do you guys think? Can you believe Christina's been married so many times? Do you think she and Josh will actually last? Let me know in the comments below.